This channel is not designed for entertainment or viral content. It exists for people who are actively healing, seeking clarity, or exploring the psychology behind their emotions and patterns. Every episode is carefully written and produced with emotional depth, reflection, and care. If you're here expecting casual commentary, high-energy hosts, surface-level discussions, flashy production, or entertainment-focused content, then we gently refer you to other channels offering just that. At DeepDive, we focus on quiet, deep, and intentional content to support those on a real mental health journey. If that's you, then welcome to our channel. You're in the right place.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you've been paying attention, really observing the landscape of mental health, wellness, even corporate strategy lately, say in 2025, you've probably noticed this huge shift. Sleep, it's just fundamentally changed. It's gone from being, a luxury, maybe an afterthought, to basically a non-negotiable mental health intervention. It's a real turning point. And right at the heart of it is this thing people are calling sleepmaxing. Now, look, this isn't just, oh, I need to get my 8 hours. We're talking about something more deliberate, almost like engineering the conditions so that sleep becomes this kind of nightly therapy session for your nervous system, like a biological reset button. And it touches everything: emotional resilience, focus, mood, even long-term brain health.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, I think, is that while sleep maxing, it sounds very modern, doesn't it? Like a buzzword. It's real power. It comes from being deeply rooted in solid evidence-based sleep science. It's not just fluff. It's about intentionally optimizing, really fine-tuning 4 key things. First, sleep quantity. Just getting enough hours consistently, that's baseline. Second, sleep quality. Making sure you get enough deep and REM sleep without waking up all the time. Minimizing fragmentation. Third is circadian alignment. Basically syncing up your body clock with natural light, super important. And finally, maybe the most crucial bit, nervous system regulation. Actively guiding your body into that calm, parasympathetic rest and digest state before you even try to sleep. And yeah, it also folds in some of these newer tools you might hear about, like mouth taping, maybe red light therapy, but not as fast, right? More like strategic ways to protect this really vital process.
Okay, got it. So for this deep dive then, our mission is pretty clear. We want to walk you through the science, the really cutting edge stuff behind sleep maxing, show you its, well, frankly, profound impact on mental well-being. Some of it might surprise you. We want to figure out why it's suddenly become like the trend of 2025, and most importantly, give you some actual concrete things you can do, practices you can use to get back that truly restorative, healing sleep. And I guess to really get it, we have to start with the brain itself, right? The neuroscience of sleep.
Exactly. It's so easy to just think of sleep as downtime, switching off. But when we talk about sleep maxing, we see it as active work, like dynamic neurological maintenance. It's busy in there. Take slow-wave deep sleep, for example. Your brain isn't just idling. Not at all. It's doing this precision cleanup job. There's this system, the glymphatic system. Think of it like the brain's waste disposal. It kicks into high gear, clearing out all this metabolic junk, neurotoxins that build up while we're awake. And that's also when emotional memories, they get processed, sort of filed away correctly. And those really important stress hormones like cortisol, they get meticulously reset.
Wow, okay. The brain cleaning house, that's a really powerful image. But it's not just deep sleep doing all the heavy lifting, is it? What about REM? We always hear about dreams, but it sounds like there's way more going on.
Oh, absolutely. REM sleep is just fascinating. While we're dreaming, our brains are actually actively reorganizing emotional experiences. It's not random. This is where your problem-solving networks can really light up. Creativity often gets a boost. And what's really unique about REM, and super relevant for sleep maxing, is its role in processing trauma. The brain can kind of recontextualize difficult, painful experiences in a way that's much harder to do when you're awake. So you can see when these intricate systems get chronically messed up, disrupted night after night, your nervous system essentially gets stuck. It's locked in this perpetual state of micro-stress, and that just opens the door to a whole cascade of mental health issues.
Right. And that lack of maintenance, or maybe the active disruption, it points straight to why this modern sleep crisis isn't just making us feel groggy. It's actually fueling conditions like anxiety, depression, burnout, things that are just everywhere now. How exactly does poor sleep make those specific struggles worse?
The link is direct and honestly profound. For anxiety, when you're sleep deprived, it actually ramps up reactivity in your amygdala. That's your brain's fear center, its alarm system.
Okay.
So you basically wake up already kind of prying for threat detection, hypervigilant. With depression, Poor sleep messes with the delicate balance of neurotransmitters that regulate mood things, serotonin, dopamine. It can dull your thinking, make you less flexible mentally, and just amplify those feelings of hopelessness.
Makes sense.
And burnout. Well, without those deep recovery cycles during sleep, your stress hormones like cortisol, they just stay high, chronically elevated. That just speeds up emotional exhaustion, makes even small daily hassles feel completely overwhelming. Optimized sleep, on the other hand, it really builds your defenses against all of this, builds resilience.
That connection seems especially critical when we bring up trauma recovery, because that's often a really, really vicious cycle for survivors, isn't it?
It really is. For someone who's experienced trauma, sleep is, well, it's a double-edged sword. It's absolutely essential for healing, obviously. But it's often incredibly difficult to actually get. The hyperarousal that comes with trauma, it can make just winding down feel almost impossible. And then you have nightmares or maybe just very vivid, disturbing dreams, disrupting that crucial REM sleep.
Right.
So the body is stuck in this high alert state, and it kind of resists the very rest it desperately needs because fundamentally sleep doesn't feel safe. So what a trauma-informed sleep-maxing approach tries to do is very methodically rebuild that sense of safety, predictability around bedtime, using specific cues for the nervous system, tweaking the environment, making sleep feel safe again.
It really feels like we hit some kind of breaking point culturally, and now suddenly sleep maxing is just, it's everywhere. What do you think are the forces that really converged to push this to the forefront? Why is it the 2025 trend?
That's a great question. I think it's a few things coming together. First, you definitely have this powerful burnout backlash, people pushing back against that relentless 24/7 corporate hustle culture.
Yeah.
And that's forced this big reframe, realizing rest isn't the enemy of productivity, it's actually its strongest ally.
Okay.
At the same time, there's been this explosion in public awareness of neuroscience. Complex brain science is getting translated into accessible daily habits through podcasts like this, articles, social media. People get more.
Yeah, you see that everywhere.
Then you can't ignore the rise of wearable tech. Your Oura rings, Whoop bands, all those gadgets. They're not just tracking steps anymore, right? They're quantifying sleep quality in detail we never had before. Makes it tangible.
Makes it real.
Exactly. And maybe finally, there's this lingering post-pandemic fatigue. Just a collective sense that we're all tired and a greater cultural value placed on deep restorative rest. It's like awareness, technology, and just sheer need all collided.
Okay, so if we're convinced, if we're ready to actually bring this, vital mental health tool into our lives, what are the core practices,
Sure.
the actionable stuff? For someone listening right now, what can they actually do to start sleep maxing?
Right. Let's get practical. There are several really powerful, but actually quite accessible things that form the foundation. First one, circadian rhythm syncing.
Yeah.
This is huge. It means committing to waking up and going to sleep within roughly the same 30-minute window every day. Consistency is key. Getting some morning light exposure, ideally sunlight, soon after waking, that anchors your clock. And critically important, really being strict about avoiding blue light from screens at night. That lets your natural melatonin production happen. Second, maybe consider mouth taping. That sounds weird, I know.
A little bit.
Yeah, but it's simple. And it encourages breathing through your nose while you sleep. That actually improves oxygenation and helps stabilize those really important deep sleep phases. Third, magnesium supplementation. Specifically, forms like magnesium glycinate or threonate. These are known for helping with muscle relaxation and calming the nervous system. Really helpful for many people.
It's interesting how, they sound maybe a bit technical, but they're actually pretty straightforward things to try. What else is in the toolkit?
Totally. Okay, fourth, implement technology-free nights. This means a hard rule. No screens for at least an hour before bed. Put the phone away, turn off the tablet, the TV, and replace that digital stimulation with something calming. Soft lighting, maybe read a physical book, journaling, listening to a guided meditation.
Okay, the wind down routine.
Exactly. Fifth, dial in your thermal regulation. Basically, sleep cool. Aim for a bedroom temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 15 to 19 Celsius. That cooler temperature actually signals your body it's time to initiate and maintain deep sleep.
Good tip.
And sixth, actively engage in sensory grounding rituals before bed. This could be gentle stretching, maybe using a weighted blanket, calming scents like lavender, or listening to soothing sounds or music. Anything that helps gently shift your nervous system out of go-go-go mode and into that parasympathetic rest and digest state.
That deliberate shift guiding the nervous system, it really highlights how getting this right, getting optimized sleep, profoundly supports emotional regulation. It really does sound like a complete rewiring for, well, for better mental well-being.
It truly is. Think about it. A nervous system that's genuinely well-rested, it's just inherently less reactive, less jumpy.
Yeah.
Your cortisol levels normalize, they come down.
Mhm.
Your prefrontal cortex, that's your brain CEO, responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, impulse control, it stays online.
Yeah.
It's fully functional.
Right, you can think clearly.
Yeah, exactly. So emotional triggers, things that might have sent you spiraling before, they feel less overwhelming, less potent. Your body becomes better at interpreting cues of safety instead of defaulting to danger signals. And over time, this doesn't just manage symptoms, it builds your core emotional resilience. Makes you much more robust in facing daily stress.
And thinking back to the trauma piece, this intentional approach to sleep using these techniques, it could be genuinely life-changing there, helping to finally break that awful feedback loop.
Yeah, and that brings up a really crucial point. How do you actually break that cycle? You know, the one, poor sleep makes emotional regulation harder, which then creates more anxiety around bedtime, making it even harder to sleep. It just feeds itself. So a trauma-informed approach here focuses on gradual steps, desensitizing yourself to that bedtime anxiety. Using those grounding rituals consistently before lights out becomes really important, and actively working to reframe rest, seeing it as a safe, healing activity, not a time of vulnerability. But it's also vital to say, for some people, this really needs to happen alongside therapy. The sleep strategies support the deeper work.
Okay, so we've covered the big practices, but we all have those nights, right? We know the common things that mess up our sleep. What are some of the most frequent disruptors, and how can we tackle them with this sort of sleep-maxing mindset?
Yeah, good question. Because many common disruptors are totally within our control, even if they don't feel like it sometimes. So if you're someone who relies on late-day caffeine, a basic sleep-maxing shift is just making a rule. Switch to herbal teas after, say, 2 p.m.
Simple enough.
If doom scrolling on your phone before bed is keeping your mind wired and anxious, consciously swap that habit. Put the phone down, pick up a physical book, journal about your day, listen to some calming music instead. Make it a deliberate replacement.
Okay. If it's racing thoughts and stress about tomorrow keeping you awake, try the brain dump. Literally, just write down your to-do list, your worries, everything swirling in your head before you get into bed. Offload it onto paper.
Get it out of your head.
Exactly. And if light pollution is an issue, street lights, electronics in the room, simple fixes. Invest in good blackout curtains, or try a comfortable sleep mask. It's often about these simple, consistent changes, but applied with real intention. That's what makes a difference.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive, it just seems incredibly clear that sleep maxing, it's way more than just another wellness trend passing through. It really feels foundational, like a revolutionary approach to looking after our mental well-being. I completely agree. It absolutely is. When you pull together all the core benefits we've talked about, optimizing sleep doesn't just, lower the chances of relapse if you struggle with depression or anxiety. It actually improves how well therapy works, especially for trauma survivors. It boosts emotional intelligence, empathy. It even offers significant protection against cognitive decline later in life.
Yeah.
So when you frame it like that, sleep maxing isn't some indulgence. It's not selfish. It's arguably the most fundamental, proactive form of preventive mental health care that we have access to.
Yeah. And what this whole conversation really shows, I think, is that in 2025, maybe the real mental health revolution, it isn't going to be found in a new pill or the latest app or some complicated biohack. It's found pretty literally right there in your pillow. Sleep maxing almost feels like a necessary cultural correction, a collective realization that our bodies, our minds, they just weren't built for this constant 24/7 stimulation, this endless digital noise.
Precisely. And by intentionally choosing to prioritize that deep, restorative, nervous system safe sleep, you're not just chasing some vague idea of wellness. You are actively reclaiming the most natural, the most essential, the non-negotiable form of mental health maintenance that exists. It's about giving your body and brain the actual conditions they require to heal, to regenerate, and really to thrive.
So thinking about all this, what does it really mean for you listening right now as you consider your own health, your own well-being?
Well, maybe at the end of the day, the smartest thing, the most forward-thinking action we can take for our mental health is maybe the simplest one. Turn off the lights, breathe deeply, and just give your brain that profound, uninterrupted permission to do its healing work overnight.
Think about it. What small, consistent shift could you make, starting tonight maybe, to prioritize this incredibly powerful natural form of recovery? It might just be the single most important step you take for your overall well-being.